Hey guys, so today I have swatches of the I Love Nail Polish or ILNP Fall Collection for 2015. There are 17 polishes in this collection, and these are going to be available for pre-order on September 4th. I will link the website down below where you guys can check these out, and I will get right into the swatches. So the first polish is called Spiced Eggnog, and this is a yellowy cream base with a strong gold shimmer, and then these little itty bitty tiny metallic red like flakies. So here's one coat. This one is pretty sheer on the first coat. The formula is okay. It's a little bit difficult to control. It kind of wants to go all over the place. It wants to run and pool down the sides of my nail if I do it too thick. So I'm trying to do very, very thin coats. So there is one coat. So here is two coats. This one actually is starting to build up pretty nicely, but I can still see through it. So I'm going to do a third coat. The formula does feel like it applies a lot better to itself than it does to the bare nail. And that usually ends up happening when I do these videos because I do them without base coats. I think if you had a base coat on, it would probably run a lot less and be a lot easier to use. So there is two coats. So I accidentally did my third coat off camera, but the third coat does cover completely. It's completely opaque in three. So there is three coats of Spiced Eggnog. The next polish is called Lulu, and this is a deep kind of bluey purple holographic. So here's one coat. This one covers okay on the first coat. I can still see through it a pretty good amount. It is kind of more like a jelly polish. Formula is good. It's smooth. It's easy to apply. It doesn't want to run. So there is one coat. So here's two coats. This one actually builds up to cover completely in two. This does have more of a scattered holographic than a linear holographic. So it kind of looks like stars to me. So there is two coats of Lulu. The next polish is called First Class, and this is almost like a gunmetal silver hollow with a ton of silver flakies mixed in. So here's one coat. So I can still see through this one to my nail line on the first coat. It does apply very, very smoothly though, and there are a ton of silver flakies in here. So there is one coat. So here's two coats. And this one covers completely in two. All of the I Love Nail polishes that are holographic with silver flakies have such an amazing sparkle on them. Like, blown away at how much sparkle there is indoors and outdoors. So there is two coats of First Class. The next polish is called Dream Girl, and this is a lighter pink holographic. So here's one coat. This one is a little bit sheer on the first coat. It's hard to tell with colors that are like really close to my skin tone. It's hard to tell if they're super sheer, if they're just blending in really well. This one has a really smooth, easy to apply formula. It doesn't want to run or pool. So there is one coat. So this one starts to cover well on the second coat. I can still make out my nail line, but because this has like a linear holographic and a larger, chunkier, scattered holographic, it's so busy that you really have to look for that nail line. So I'm not going to do a third coat, even though technically it's not completely opaque. So there is two coats of Dream Girl. The next polish is called Maiden Lane, and this is a darker, almost like bluey silver holographic. So here's one coat. This one is more sheer than I expected on the first coat. Formula is easy to apply. I feel like it wants to pool just a little tiny bit, but not much. So there is one coat. So here's two coats. This one covers completely in two. These hollows do have kind of more of a chunky, almost like micro glitter, scattered hollow quality to them, but they do still remove fairly easy. So there is two coats of Maiden Lane. The next polish is Diablo, and this is a deep, vampy red holographic. So here's one coat. This one covers okay on the first coat. It's still way lighter than it should be. Formula is really good on this one, probably the best formula so far in the collection. So there is one coat. So here's two coats. So this one covers completely in two. This one is also another that's more of a scattered holographic rather than a linear because it has the hollow particles, I guess, more far apart. They almost look more like stars. Some of the polishes in this collection have both, but this one and Lulu are the only ones so far that are just scattered. So there is two coats of Diablo. So the next polish is Mona Lisa, and this is kind of a brown, bronzy holographic. So here's one coat. This one covers pretty well on the first coat. I can still see my nail line a little bit though. The formula is good. It's smooth, easy to apply. It feels like you get a lot on the brush, but it doesn't want to run or pool at all. So there is one coat. So here is 2 coats. This one covers completely in 2. If you hear a lot of mouth sounds, Lily is in my lap. It's not me, I swear. So there is 2 coats of Mona Lisa. The next polish is called Mountain View, and this is a deep blue-green holographic with, there's a cluster of them right here, these gold and bronze flakies. So here's one coat. This one is a bit sheer on the first coat. Again, it's more of a jelly. I am getting some of those flakies out, but they're a little hard to see. Formula is good on this one. So there is one coat. So here's 2 coats. This one almost covers completely in 2, but it's still a little bit lighter where my nail line is, so I'm going to do 3. Again, good, smooth formula. I do feel like you lose those flakies in here, though. So there is 2 coats. So here's 3 coats. And this one covers completely in 3. I think realistically 2 would be fine, but I could still see a little bit of my nail line, and now looking at it, I feel like the 3rd coat did darken it up a little bit. So there is 3 coats of Mountain View. The next polish is called Overnight Bag, and this is a deep, vampy, kind of reddy brown, like an oxblood kind of color. Here it is next to Diablo, which really don't look that different on camera, but Diablo does have a lot more red to it. So here's one coat. This one is a bit sheer on the first coat. Again, it's a little bit more like a jelly. Formula is really good though, smooth, easy to apply. You can see I did it a lot thinner on my pointer and pinky fingers. So there is one coat. So here's 2 coats. So this one covers completely in 2, and I feel like it has this kind of coppery, bronzy, it's hard to tell because it's so minor, shimmer that runs throughout it as well. You can see it if you look very, very closely. Again, great formula. These all dry fairly shiny too. So there is 2 coats of Overnight Bag. The next polish is called the Road to Awe, and this is kind of a green to gold to orange to pink, maybe a little bit of blue in there, shifting multi-chrome flaky. And I am layering this one over OPI's Black Onyx. So here's one coat. So you get a lot of flakies on your brush with one coat, and they do spread out evenly. They don't take a lot of manipulation either. I feel like if you sponged this on, you could probably get it opaque on its own. So there is the Road to Awe. The next polish is called Glory, and this is a green, gold, orange, pink multi-chrome flaky. This almost shifts to the same colors as the multi-chrome polish that came out, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, called Abundance. And I'm layering this one also over OPI's Black Onyx, but I'm lazy and I only did one coat this time. So here is one coat. This one is about the same as the other one, same amount of flakies on the brush. Easy to apply, you get a lot of flakies on there and you don't have to manipulate or spread them around to get them to cover evenly. Again, I think you could probably sponge this on and get it opaque on its own. And these also remove very easily as well. So there is one coat of Glory. The next polish is Cameo Hollow, and this is a blue and green, gold, pink, purpley duochrome polish. This came out, I believe, in the summer collection, and now this one is the hollow version, which means it has a scattered holographic sparkle in it, in addition to the multi-chrome effect. So here's one coat. This one is a little bit sheer on the first coat, but not as sheer as some other multi-chromes that I've used. Formula is good on this one. A little bit difficult to control, but it doesn't want to run or pool. So there is one coat. So here's 2 coats. This one covers completely in 2. Multi-chromes can be a little bit brush strokey, so I'm trying to do really straight lines. Although with the holographic in this one, it does help cover that up. So there is 2 coats of Cameo Hollow. The next polish is called Pretty Little Liar, and this is a kind of deep berry colored holographic. So here's one coat. This one is a little bit sheer on the first coat. Again, it's more of a jelly. Formula is good though, smooth, easy to apply. So there is one coat. So there is 2 coats. This one covers pretty well on the second coat. It's a little tiny bit uneven still, and I feel like it's not as dark as it should be, so I'm going to do a third. Again, great formula, smooth, easy to apply. So there is 2 coats. So here's 3 coats. 3 coats covers completely on this one, and it does deepen the color just a little bit. Again, these all dry super shiny. I'm used to hollows drying dull, so it's nice to see them dry shiny. So there is 3 coats of Pretty Little Liar. The next polish is Greatness, and this is a blue to gold, orange to pink multi-chrome. This is Abundance, which is one I referenced earlier. I thought these looked really close until I pulled it out. They do have a very similar shift between the colors, but Abundance doesn't seem to shift to as much of a pink as Greatness does. So here's one coat. This one does not cover completely on the first coat, but it does cover really well, which is kind of a surprise for me. Again, I'm kind of used to multi-chromes being sheer. Formula is great on this one, smooth, easy to apply. It is a little bit brush strokey though, so you will want to be careful to try to do straight strokes. So there is one coat. So here's two coats. This one covers completely on two, and I did notice that a lot of those brush strokes kind of faded out as it dried. This one does dry a little bit dull though, so you will want a good top coat. So there is two coats of Greatness. The next polish is Clockwork, and this is a nude holographic with a bunch of silver flakies. So here's one coat. This one is a bit sheer on the first coat, but you do get a ton of silver flakies on the brush. Formula is good on this one, smooth, easy to apply. So there is one coat. So here's two coats. This one covers completely in two. This one actually dried pretty fast. I think most of the thinner hollows like this that have the flakies mixed into them tend to dry faster. So there is two coats of Clockwork. The next polish is called After Midnight, and this is a deep blue scattered holographic. So here's one coat. Like most of the others, this one is more like a jelly, so it's a bit sheer on the first coat. This one has a smooth, easy to apply formula. It doesn't want to run or pool, but I am trying to do really thin coats that it does cover evenly. So there is one coat. So here is two coats. This one covers completely on two coats, but I feel like it's still a little bit lighter than it should be. So I'm going to do three. Again, good formula on this one. So there is two coats. So here's three coats. So three coats, and this one does deepen the color and it matches what's in the bottle. This one also dries really shiny. So there is three coats of After Midnight. The next polish is called Top Down, and this is kind of a bluey silver holographic. So here's one coat. The particles in this one are pretty big and they're spaced pretty far apart, so it doesn't cover completely on one coat. It's actually pretty sheer. Formula is good though. It's easy to apply. So there is one coat. So here's two coats. This one isn't completely opaque on two, so I'm going to do a third. It's pretty close, and I think it'd probably be good for most people, but I can just still see through it a little bit too much. This is a very, very bright, bright color. That sounded weird. I mean, like the silver is a very bright silvery blue. It's light. It's wintry. I don't know. So there is two coats. So here is three coats. Three coats does cover completely on this one. This should remove fairly easy because the particles are so small, but they might still be a little bit difficult to get off the skin around your nails. So there is three coats of Top Down. So my favorite in this collection is Diablo. These kind of reddy, kind of berry colors are some of my favorite colors to wear in the fall and this time of year, and then this one has that amazing holographic running throughout it as well. So it's just like the cherry on top of my already favorite fall color.